Hello and welcome to the live stream of the IPL. And as you all know, the Chennai Super Kings are the champions, and the fifth star is now on their jersey. Of course, we are talking about that because it's been incredible 2 months of cricket. We did do the preview last evening, and we were pretty clear on how Chennai Super Kings can do it. If any team can possibly outfox or outbat any other team, it was going to be Chennai Super Kings. And they did show on the day and what they can possibly do. And chasing on 171 in 15 overs was not a mere task. It is not for the faint-hearted. It is for the big boys. And the men in yellow, led by the legend himself, the Mahendra Singh Dhoni boys, as they call themselves, the Chennai boys, were absolutely taking it as a stroll in the park. Everybody chipping in. There was no big performers, guys. Everybody. Devon Conway with the 47. That was the highest in a 171 chase in 15 overs. Rahane with the 27. Then you have a Rayudu with 19. Jadeja with 15. Dubey with 32. That's enough. The modern day T20 batting at its absolute best, and Chennai Super Kings laying a foundation for it. I have Jaren with me, an absolutely ecstatic super fan of the Chennai Super Kings. Jaren, I couldn't have asked someone better than you today. The stage is all yours. Go ahead.
Oh man, absolutely. It's been not even 24 hours, and I can still see, I can still feel that tension in the last over. It's still not gone away, and the jubilance as well that came through
Yeah.
from that Jadeja's boundary. It was just magical, dude. There's nothing better to say. I think that the fact that right after hitting that boundary, he ran right at MS Dhoni and that celebration and everything else. I was screaming my throat out, and I can now feel the after effects of it. But man, it was worth it. It was genuinely worth it. It was almost like it was written in the stars, to be very honest.
Yeah.
Took it to the last minute. I know you called a stroll in the park. It definitely was not a stroll in the park. It was tough, and Gujarat Titans made it tough, but then in
Mm.
the end, it was just worth it. Like every moment, every nail biting, what do you say, ball that went in the air, not knowing
Yeah.
whether this is going for a six or another catch. I mean, it was just
Yeah.
magical.
I can never say I relate to it, but then just talking about talking about which, I love the fact that you described it in a way how a fan would, primarily because a lot of people know the emotions was high, the stakes was high. IPL final, you don't want to be losing because of Duckworth Lewis method, because it would look very off as well, isn't it? 15 overs, that target looked extremely hard. I mean, let's be very honest, right? It was not an easy target to chase. Number
Yeah.
one. Number two, you're chasing against the best bowling unit of the IPL. You're not chasing against a mere quality side. You're talking about three highest leading wicket takers of the IPL: Mohit Sharma, and Rashid Khan in one team, and that was Gujarat Titans for you. And then to counter that all, you had to bat at a certain rate where you can't afford to lose quick wickets as well. You had to bat in a quick run rate, and you had to keep the wickets in hand. And that's what Ruturaj and Devon Conway did. But let's talk about which I think we can talk about the match. But before that, I mean, rain affected game, 15 overs. I know that doesn't really look good ultimately when you look in larger perspective, because you don't want 10 years down the line looking at an IPL final and saying it's just a 15 over bash. But I would have taken this final. If it was, you don't usually see the IPL finals go to the wire. 2019 was an exception. 2017 was there. 2008 was there. Other than that, you saw even 2012 to an extent. But other than that, a lot of other finals have been extremely one sided, in my opinion. 2016 was very, very close because I felt it. But other than that, most of the finals were one sided because the one team really outbats other, or one team really gets an upper hand because of that final frontier. They are the better team to play there. But Chennai Super Kings or Gujarat Titans, two evenly matched sides, philosophy, player wise, the way in which they go about their things, extremely calm in all the situations. And that really showed, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, just to look at it, we knew it was going to be a very tight one. And if you guys were with us during the preview, you knew how undecided it was to be if you are an unbiased cricket fan. If you look at it in a very objective manner, you would know that
Jen, you're breaking up. Jen, you're breaking up. Maybe you can just join, and meanwhile you join back, I'll just take it off from there, because I know you talk about some of the greatest folklore stories in IPL, and for me, at the end of the day, you have to talk about this story, because Mahendra Singh Dhoni will not know if it's his last dance, because he still left us on a hanging rope. But meanwhile, when we talk about this story of Chennai Super Kings, it had to come down to that moment where Ravindra Jadeja was the man to be for Chennai Super Kings, because after all what has happened with him and Chennai Super Kings, it was all evident. I mean, we would be sugarcoating stuff if you're saying that there was nothing wrong between them. There was definitely something which was not brewing right. But ultimately, when you look in a larger perspective, you have to admit it. I mean, he came to be the hero. He's going to be remembered in the folklore. That's that picture of Mahendra Singh Dhoni lifting Jadeja. We don't see Dhoni showing emotions, but you saw it yesterday. You saw him emotional. That moment before the last ball when he put his head down, you saw the entire India had their breath in. They were like, "Oh my God, what's gonna happen now? Are we gonna see the match go the other way? Do you know want the most perfect ending?" Then that ending happens. Then Dhoni lifts it up. It was all like a proper last dance material. If you were to make a series on Chennai Super
Yeah.
Kings, this had to be the climax. This had to be the climax, and that's where you pull out the Netflix original tag right there.
I mean, I'll be very honest, Shibil. When Ambati Raidu was batting, I felt like, all right, everything is
By the
coming
way, thank
together.
you, Kapil, for
And then
that.
when
We couldn't do a video because we didn't want to keep you all waiting at morning three. We all thought about it, but morning three is
yeah,
not a right time for us to come live and for you all to join us as well. Because a lot of people are working. We all understand. A lot of people have schools and colleges. So we thought we'll sit calmly, we'll gather our thoughts, talk about it in an objective way. Bias, yes, we all are Chennai fans at the end of the day to some extent because we all love the Vijay victory. But yeah, I mean, thanks for that. Thanks, that means a lot, Kapil.
yeah,
Go
thank you
ahead,
so much,
champion. Go
Kapil.
ahead.
But yeah, as I was saying, when Ambati Raidu was batting and when his wicket fell and Dhoni walked in, it was 22 to win a 15. And I felt like, all right, this is it. This is where the stuff of dreams is. And then it just suddenly turned into a nightmare. Dhoni's wicket, you could see Dhoni stunned. And when I saw Dhoni stunned, I don't know, my mind went right back to 2019 and that exasperated face look that Dhoni had when he saw the big screen that he was dismissed. It was the same expression, the same stunned crowd. And I was like, no, no, no. This is all going towards another nightmare, another 2019 nightmare. And then, I mean, I would have to say, then from there on, I think it was Rashid Khan who came into the ball the next over.
Yeah,
And when
absolutely.
Shivam Dubey got those boundaries, and I was like, okay, wait, maybe all is not done. And then Mohit Sharma came in, balled at four Yorkers back to back. One of them was a low full toss, and I think Jadeja could have done a slight. I mean, Dubey could have done a slight better job with it. But then I can understand when someone's been balling those balls, and with Mohit Sharma, you are staying on the back foot, hoping for a slower delivery. And ever since, Ambati Raidu had smacked him for those three boundaries, a 6-4 and a 6, he had stopped bowling slower deliveries completely. It was just quick into the wicket or quick and under the bat. Then then I think the game really changed when Hardik Pandya took Mohit Sharma away. I was like, yeah, this could be a blunder. Either it could be a blunder or it could be a masterclass because you could also have put Jadeja under that pressure, because now Jadeja is waiting with 10 to win of two. You put Jadeja under pressure, but I just felt it was a blunder because if someone has balled four balls back to back Yorkers, that means they are in
Mm,
perfect rhythm and you've just disrupted their rhythm. And not to forget when a death ball is doing well, if it's an experienced bowler, someone who's been doing it so well for you, then you don't need to, at all tell him anything. He knows what needs to be done. So I think Hardik Pandya getting into Mohit Sharma's head there, that really destroyed it for them. And then he bowled a juicy half volley and then a juicy full toss. And boy, oh boy, that was my favorite full toss in a long, long time. I mean, it's
mm,
just great.
mm. I agree. Let's take some comments because I think we've already got some 100 likes on our stream. So thanks for that. A lot of people are joining in, and but before that, we will take some questions. Match was in Ahmedabad with the local team in the final, but the crowd went wild for MS. I mean, I have to admit, this IPL was all about MS Dhoni, and it was just MS Dhoni's IPL.
Yeah,
It was just written in the stars. Yeah, so I was doing another live stream before, and I was just talking about two teams who really did it for one man. I mean, I know India in 2011 did for Sachin Tendulkar, but Argentina for Messi, where you had him as the main man, the big brother, and he used to guide everybody around him that I'll take a bullet for Rodrigo de Paul, Lautaro Martinez. If you have talked about players like Di Maria, everybody, Otamendi, everybody was on it for Messi. Similarly, for Chennai Super Kings, you felt like Deepak Chahar, Ravindra Jadeja, you put Mahesh Patirana there, Tikshana there. everybody were like, we will go out there and fight that battle out for Mahendra Singh Dhoni. No matter what happens, our personal milestones, do hell with it. We are gonna go and fight it out for Mahendra Singh Dhoni, Rahane for that matter, Shivam Dubey. They all know they are in different perspectives, there are different places in their career where possibly they might not even get a call up for India. They might possibly have to be just happy or content with whatever they have. But then they all did for one man, and the professionalism from every person to do it for that person, which is MS Dhoni himself, is so great to watch. And that's why I'll draw narratives or comparisons from the Argentina game, because that's the closest example we have for team coming together and the crowd and the world coming together for one man. And that's very similar to Mahendra Singh Dhoni's story. I mean, it'd be great to see him back, but I like perfect endings, and that's why I like Mahendra Singh Dhoni calling it off. I know it'll hurt a lot of people, but come on, man, you can't get a better ending than this. If you were to make a movie out of it, this has to be the climax.
I think even for me, I think I was listening to Bharat Sundaresan, right? And he was talking about how so Bharat Sundaresan is one of the people who, I mean, who with whom Dhoni has worked. He's written a book with
Yeah,
Dhoni as well, so he has some idea into
yeah.
Dhoni's psyche. And what he
Mhm.
said is that it's possible Dhoni let it slip in all the emotions that he's not coming back. And just to save face, he had to go out there and say that I'll try
Now,
my
that's a
best
very
because
typical
Dhoni was
Dhoni thing
emotional.
to do, isn't it? Because Dhoni is not
Yeah,
going to go out there and when Harsha asked that first question, I mean, it was very typical of Harsha to ask that question, because that was the first question everybody wanted to hear. And
of
Harsha was
course.
very clear
I
that,
mean,
uh,
that was such an amazing interaction, isn't it? It was
yeah,
2018-esque interaction,
it was
2021-esque
2021.
interaction.
It was a continuation interview from
Yeah,
2021 final, and it was the same
yeah, yeah,
question like, have you left your legacy behind? And he
yeah.
asked, so do you want me to say I retire? And it's very easy for me to say I retire and say that. He said that, but I have a feeling this is the end, and just accept
Me
it, just
too.
embrace it.
Me too.
I mean, that
Me
it's
too.
been an incredible journey. If he comes back,
And
well and good. We all enjoyed one more time, but Last Dance had to be this. This was the epitome of it.
yeah, I think even from what he said as well, right? He said that he'll look after his body, and if his body allows him, he'll be able to come back. I don't think his
Hmm.
body is at that spot anymore. I think that knee injury is. I think it's something that's come off because of the amount of time he's played cricket, and I think it's also the right time for Chennai, in my opinion, for Dhoni to step aside, because this is the right moment for someone else to take over and build a legacy, because this is a new team. I mean, to be very frank, I'm still. It's a miracle that this team actually made it to the final and won it. Because the bowling attack, I had spoken about this in the preview as well. They were very inexperienced bowling attack, and for them to be able to, and that inexperience did come into picture, right? That did that did
Later. Go ahead,
come
go
into
ahead.
picture in the final. That did come into picture in the final, and that's where the reason I felt like Chennai could not take early wickets. They really struggled when it came to that final as a bowling unit. But it was the batters who saved their skin, and Dhoni said that frankly in the post match as well. The batters saved the bowlers from embarrassment, to say the least. So I think that's why now it's about time this team can really mold it into a championship team in the next 3-4 years. We've got the core, the pace bowling core. Tikshana obviously has a long way to go. I think Jadeja has a few more years left in him. So I think it's about time that a new project, a Chennai 2.0 probably, with Dhoni being the last member of that golden generation, to take a step aside and build a give it a new start.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. Welcome, Sandibani, with the new style, new dapper look, man. I mean, looking fresh, looking great. You should have been having a colored hair, but nonetheless, I think that's what he did for Chennai
Ah,
Super Kings. Looking fresh. It's a new beginning for Sandibani in the stream. Looking great, man. Looking great. But yeah,
No, no, actually, I
let's
was
talk.
just, yeah, I was just keeping my hair and the beard just in case I had to color it red. I was
Yeah.
hoping for RCB to win their first title, but
Hasn't
unfortunately, once they
happened,
got
man.
eliminated, I thought might as well freshen up.
Now I feel like we are nowhere close to that franchise. Like you have to climb mountains to reach CSK and Mumbai levels. I mean, it's somewhere else. I mean, as a
Yeah,
true
I mean
fan,
it's just that I mean RCB and KKR apart from Mumbai Indians and CSK have some sort of a fan base. Other teams, I think they are still struggling with the fan base. Gujarat
yeah,
Titans and Lucknow Super Giants are still quite fairly new. But the way, I mean, we'll have to talk about yesterday's game. Just to sum it up, I think I was not really excited with the final because once
of
again
course,
Hardik
of
Pandya
course.
3 days, bro.
encounter.
3 days,
But
3 days.
yeah,
We waited for
and
three
then
days.
it was stretched out for too long. I mean, come on, yeah. IPL finals, you should at least have a look at the weather forecast when deciding the venues, because you guys know
I
this
mean,
is going
may I
to.
ask you something? But I'll ask you something, Bunny. Do you feel,
Yeah.
knowing that weather could have changed at night, on the reserve day, could they have started a couple of hours earlier?
No,
Yeah, I
my
think
point
so.
is different, guys. I'll just put a point as well. My point is, if you can play 15 overs, why don't you play for 20 overs instead? क्या फर्क पड़ता है? I mean, you would have stayed
Yeah,
there for 30 more
exactly,
minutes.
because the game went till 1:30
Yeah.
in the night. But then again, I mean, with honestly, if rain wouldn't have come in, would Chennai Super Kings, would they have found it easy to chase down 215 in 20 overs?
No.
I think they would have found a Herculean task. It was just because that the rain came, the pitch became so easy to bat on. You could see the players were picking a Mohammad Shami and a Rashid Khan straight out of the surface, and it was a heaven to bat on. So I think the rain coming in, it was a very, very smart choice from Dhoni to sort of win the toss and field first, because if rain wouldn't have set in, I don't see any team in that sort of a condition opting to field first, especially after the performance that Gujarat Titans put up against Mumbai Indians two nights back. So I think it was a gamble. He was waiting for the rain. He was expecting rain, and it came and it paid off. And I feel once the rain set in, even if you had a 20 overs game, it's just unfair on the bowling team so I feel that okay, the DLS method should come into place. At least you'll have a steeper task, because chasing 172 in 15 overs, it's still difficult than chasing 215 in 20 overs after the rain has come in. I mean, the pitch is a lot easier to bat on. So in that case, I understand the scenario, and I understand that DLS method comes in just to make it more of a competitive sport in nature. But I agree to your point. I mean, if you could have 15 overs, why not 20 overs? As a fan, as a cricket fan, it is always nice to see. Not never nice to see one of the finals, or a final of such a grand
Yeah, yeah.
stage.
Agreed.
Biggest tournaments in the world gets shortened,
I
dampened.
know there's marketing and everything, but I thought 2 crore people were watching at 3 in the morning for that trophy lifting. So people were
Exactly.
hooked onto it, and people would have watched it. And you're talking about 6 in the morning when Chennai Super Kings were leaving for the hotel. People were outside, cheering for it. So that's what I'm talking about. So it was that kind of a
That is just
final. Everybody
IPL,
were
right?
emotionally involved in it.
Exactly. Yeah, and
So
then
we have,
I think up to a certain point, like you give the analogy about Messi winning the World Cup, it is as close as Messi winning the World Cup for CSK. I mean, Dhoni, after having done, and exactly why I want Dhoni to call it quits. I mean, even if his
yeah,
body
yeah,
permits, I would love him to end on a high rather than coming in
same,
next
same,
season not
same.
100% fit, scoring, having another 150 or 200 run season. Because if you
Exactly.
see, in terms of strike rate of batsmen who has scored at least 100 runs, I think Dhoni is the third highest. He has the third highest strike rate
Mm,
across all teams. So he has done his job of scoring at a strike rate in excess of 180. But the fact that he has only been able to score 104 runs throughout the season, he has batted 12 innings, but
mm.
I mean, only he got to play some 60 odd deliveries the entire season. So another year where he is not 100% fit, coming in next season, playing another 60, 70 deliveries, I mean, the body will deteriorate further. So I think this you should end on a high. And this
Exactly.
has been the case with Dhoni. I felt Dhoni could have retired after 2021. I know I am going to get a lot of criticism after this, but I mean, he could have ended on a high at 2021. But I think this is the peak that he can reach. One of the best IPL seasons, one of the most closely fought IPL seasons. Chennai Super Kings with a team. If you would have said me at the start of the season, Chennai Super Kings are the favorites, I would have laughed it off. But
Yeah,
Dhoni taking this sort of a team to victory, I think this is the highest peak, or the highest
yeah,
point that Super Kings as a franchise can reach, or
yeah.
Dhoni as a captain can reach. So
I
just call
think
it.
so. I think so. For me, this has to be the greatest CSK victory. I know Jaren will have something else to say, but for me at least, I personally feel this has to be one of the greatest ever CSK win, primarily because of what they had in terms of resources at disposal and the team they had leading into it. Then Ben Stokes getting injured and the resources they used, like Rahane, Shivam Dubey, and then you're talking about Mahendra Singh Dhoni himself at the
Shivam
age of
Dubey has
41.
smashed the second highest sixes in
So
this tournament.
let's put some
Rahane
stats there.
top
Let's
10 most
share
square
some
players. Yeah.
stats meanwhile. So I think my screen is visible for a lot of you people. Uh, So when you talk about strike rate in itself, we can see that Mahendra Singh Dhoni is right there in number three. That's a crazy season to have at 182 strike rate. And Rashid Khan is number one, with Glenn Maxwell number two, Surya Kumar Yadav there. You're talking about some of the big hitters who come in the top of the order. Rahane finds himself in the note as well because he's had a good season in terms of strike rate. Though you'll say he was being erratic here and there. But yeah, you have to say he's right up there when it comes to strike rate. And when you talk about batting averages, Devon Conway, very consistent. Even yesterday, scoring a very, very handy 47. Fearless, very, very selfless in terms of that. Most sixes, 35 sixes alone by Shivam Dubey. What an incredible season there. And Ruturaj Gaikwad also finds himself in that list. Let's remember that his six-hitting game has really gone notches higher this season, especially. You won't say that this has been Ruturaj Gaikwad kind of a season of 2021. But definitely in terms of his strike rate, in terms of his six-hitting ability, it's been much more of a fearless Ruturaj Gaikwad in comparison with any other Ruturaj Gaikwad. And he scored 500 runs at the end of the day. And with
And that is
672
the
runs,
secret mantra for CSK, right? If you have the openers firing, if you have both the openers in the top 10 highest run scorers for the season, you are going to see CSK on the top of that champions table, because whenever they have been successful, you have had a Murli Vijay come in at the top of the order. You have had a Matthew Hayden come in, put some sort of an impact in the innings. You have had these sort of people in the past. Then there was Faf du Plessis and Rituraj Gaikwad in 2021, who are absolutely dominating the bowlers this time around as well. But I think this time around, you have a lot more people scoring a lot more centuries than what you will see in other seasons, or people are going on to score more runs, because this time around we have had some more flatter surfaces, and
Yeah.
a lot of people said, 200 is the new 180 right now in the IPL for sure.
I agree. I agree. 200 is the new 180. But generally, let's talk about Chennai Super Kings team, and especially in pertaining to yesterday's victory. I thought it was a classic example of how T20 modern batting can be. 171, 15 overs, no star performer there. 47 was the highest score. Then you had 15 of 6, 19 of 8. Then you had 32 of 21. And then, of course, you had who else? Rutraj also chipped in with 28 odd runs of 16 balls. A fearless batting unit, no big scores, good strike rates, and great returns, and victory is finally theirs. You reckon this is now what every team will strive to do? We've already been vouching and we've already been vocal about it way previously, but now yesterday's final even shows it why centuries don't matter anymore. If you can have these 40s, 30s of quick strike rate, playing fearless brand of cricket, you can take any score down.
Yeah, I think Jaren is not there right
Yeah, you
now,
can talk
so
about
I'll
Sunny. I think
take
I
that
think
question.
go ahead, go ahead, go
I
ahead.
think I think that's been the secret mantra for CSK: a strong, solid foundation at the top from the openers, and then players just come in, chip in, and a lot of people have been going gaga about MS Dhoni, and rightly so. But I think Ambati Raidu deserves every inch of credit and more. I mean, he did not have the best of seasons to bid his farewell, but I have been a Ambati Raidu fan for long, and I feel he's one of the more underrated cricketers in Team India. I mean, he did not get to represent Team India quite a lot, but
Yeah.
I think that was a gem that India couldn't really utilize his potential. I've been a fan of Ambati Raidu since his time in
Hmm.
Mumbai
Mumbai.
Indians. I think the impact that he had for
Yeah.
Mumbai Indians in 2013, 2015 was
2010, 2010, when he came into
2010
the
to
suit.
2030. Yeah, when he just came on the forefront and just started scoring. I mean, we had seen players from Mumbai Indians like Abhishek Nair, Saurav Tiwari have an immediate impact, but nobody went on to last for as long as Ambati Raidu did, and to
Yeah.
be consistent. And he is one of the best players of spin that I've seen in recent times in the Indian team, because just absolutely he makes a mockery of some of the best spinners in the world, and some of the strokes, even the,
Yeah.
I mean, the ball before he got out yesterday, the back foot 6 over long off that he played, I think that is one of the more audacious shots that I've seen this tournament. So
Hmm.
a great stage for him to bid farewell to the sport that he loves, that he has given everything to. Ambati Raidu, kudos to him as
Hmm.
well. But talking about Chennai Super Kings, I think the people, the batters chipping in after that strong foundation is something that they'll really cherish. Shivam Dubey coming in and finally maturing after 2 3 average seasons, after being touted as the next big thing for his big hitting abilities. I think he has honed himself, and it was good to see him take CSK home yesterday. I mean, he did not lose away his wicket
Yeah.
when the scoreboard pressure was climbing up, and I think it was the two sixes that he hit off Rashid Khan that actually changed the momentum in CSK's favor, because 50 needed of 20 deliveries on an IPL final, no matter how good the pitch is difficult. Rashid Khan bowling to you, and especially when you're struggling at 11 runs or 12 runs of 11 deliveries. So from then on, Shivam Dube hitting those two sixes, and then Ambati Raidu chipping in, Ravindra Jadeja chipping in. It's been that sort of a season for CSK, and CSK has already always been successful when you have all sorts of players coming in. It hasn't been a particular heroic from a particular player, like you mentioned. And we have seen CSK be successful in this nature itself. They have role clarity. They have players coming in and performing their roles. Even Ajinkya Rahane coming in and just striking the ball with ease. The two sixes that he hit off Joshua Little after coming in, it was just so good to see. All in all, it was a great game from CSK, because no matter how easy the track is, 172 from 15 overs in an
Yeah,
IPL final
absolutely.
is
I
a
agree.
Herculean task. And
Yeah.
and the way they batted, it shows. I mean, they deserve to win,
Yeah.
and it shows that they were four-time champions leading into the
Yeah,
finals.
yeah. It just looks like they were the better team, and they showed when it mattered the most to defeat Gujarat in the two times they defeated them, and they showed what a champion team can do on that night. I'll take some comments before we end it because I don't want to keep the stream too long as well. I want it to be concise. I want people's emotions to be running in because this was just a tribute stream because we have a tribute. Jaren, are you there? And Jaren is again stuck. Okay, Jaren is there. Jaren is there. Jaren, are you there? Jaren
Yeah,
is.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, Jaren is there. Jaren is there.
Am
Jaren
I
is just in
audible?
awe right now. Jaren is in dream world. You can't bring him right now back into normalcy. It's gonna take a while. It's not sinking in. It's not sinking in, guys. So we'll take some comments. There are some beautiful comments. I'll take it up. So I'm going Gaga over MS. I love him. So this is a very good comment as well. The greatest captain in sporting history, the greatest captain there ever was, there ever is, there ever will be. Wow, that's great. And I know Shinwari is a CSK fan. Uh, Ni Singam Dan. That means he's a lion. So of course, I'm crying. I'm still in tears. Nice. MS Dhoni Mattum Da Singam. So he says only MS Dhoni is lion. Aungal pole yaram ille. So he says there's no one like him. So it's
I
No
think
one
this
pretty.
is
like
the
him.
first time we have seen
Yeah.
Kerala cricket freaks talk about somebody other than Sanju Samson, which is
I mean,
great
that's
to
the
see.
first time maybe the whole of India is happy for some rival team's victory or whatever it is. I think genuinely, I'll just quote Hardik Pandya and I won't let's before we end. Thoughts on I want to ask Jaren thoughts on Hardik Pandya, the captain, Gujarat Titans. Very, very, very graceful. And yesterday I felt was the peak of sporting moments. MS Dhoni celebrating lifted Jadeja up, but MS Dhoni told guys, wait a minute, let's go shake their hands. Let's go do that number one. And that for me
Hmm.
won my hearts, man. That for me is what a leader stands for. That's for me what sport is all about. I mean, you're celebrating your won 5 titles. Let's wait a minute. Let's go thank them. It's been an incredible final. And Hardik Pandya hugging Mohit Sharma saying that, boy, it doesn't matter. We got
Yeah.
your back. And then Hardik Pandya saying that God blesses better people. And I'm happy that MS Dhoni won. It takes guts to come out there and say this in public when you've lost a final. And Hardik has
Hmm.
never lost an IPL final. This is the
Absolutely.
first taste of bitterness in an
Yeah.
IPL final for him. And to stand there, see, be so composed. We credit CSK for what they are. They're very gracious in losses and victory. That's why they're one of the most gracious sides in IPL. That's why nobody can hate them. And they've seen 5 losses in IPL finals before winning this 5 titles. Let's remember that it's an equilibrium. And so they know what it feels to lose as well. But Gujarat Titans, incredible run. Kudos to them, isn't it?
Yeah, I think as you mentioned, right, when Jadeja was running towards Dhoni, I think the equivalent, the other side of it, where Hardik Pandya ran towards Mohit Sharma, was devastated, and to be the first person to go out there, give him a hug, give him a pat on the head, that just shows the kind of captain he is. And throughout Chennai celebrations, he had a smile on his face, a wistful smile, yes, but he had a smile on his face. And you're right, it was just pure class from him. To be very frank, I have to say that Hardik Pandya I think has always been a secret Chennai Super Kings fan, even when he was in Mumbai Indians, and now it's just coming out of him. But yeah, aside from that dig, I have to say that, it they were just great from Gujarat Titans. And I think
No,
that's also the
yesterday you had
reason why
all these
this.
CSK
I mean,
fanboys come out and accept it. KL Rahul making a collage in like 20 minutes. Virat Kohli going out there.
yeah,
Everybody, like even all the fanboys were out.
I think it was more of MS Dhoni fan rather than CSK fan.
Yeah, I
I
agree, I agree.
think
It was all
yeah,
MS Dhoni fanboys because all of them
yeah,
made their debut under MS Dhoni, so they all know why.
exactly. I mean, it's
yes,
it's a part of being grateful.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was just a great day for sport and overall, because it was a very gracious final. Both the teams respected each other a lot, and I'll be very honest. I think in the next 10 years, Gujarat Titans are going to be a big time powerhouse, and probably they're going to pull off what Chennai did, coming into playoffs every season for what 10 years back to back. I mean, I think 12 years back to back. So I think that's something that this team can easily pull off, and I think if there's a third powerhouse that's going to come up in the Indian Premier League, that's going to be them. Probably they might replace Mumbai Indians as well in that hierarchy, because Mumbai has been
Mm.
slightly teetering off when it comes to that
Yeah.
legacy that they
But let's
had
not
built.
write them off just yet, guys. Let's just not write anyone
I
off.
think
I'm a
Mumbai Indians, the
Chennai
team
fan.
going
I'm
through
going to take
transition,
every
did a great
opportunity
job
to write
reaching the
them
third
off.
spot.
Yeah, let's just not write them
Absolutely,
off.
yes. Who knows? I mean,
Yeah,
next
but yeah,
season
you're
could be
right.
theirs.
You're right. I mean, I think someone gave this beautiful example. I think Sean Pollock said Gujarat Titans are the Manchester City of IPL, and I think so. It could be their dominance. It
Hmm.
was Liverpool and Manchester United who dominated for a while, and Manchester City came out of the
But
blue.
at one point I feel it was Gujarat Titans game to lose. I mean, with
Yeah,
10 needed of two deliveries, and the way Mohit Sharma was executing his Yorkers,
yeah.
the first three deliveries of the final over
Mm,
was one of the most beautiful death
mm.
overs that it started out to be. I mean,
Yeah,
three
yeah,
perfect Yorkers,
yeah,
and then it looked very gloomy. And at one point I was really sad for Dhoni. I
yeah.
mean, when
I
10 runs
gave
were
up.
needed of two deliveries, when
I'll be
Dhoni took off
honest.
his pads, I mean,
Yeah.
it looked heartbreaking
Yeah,
for
yeah.
both
I'll give a
Dhoni
very
and the
interesting
players.
story. Okay, so I was in the bus. I was making my journey back to Bangalore. And the bus had stopped because the final over was going on, including the driver, including everybody. And they stopped with other buses online. They were like, "We're watching the final now, guys. Just get out. You can take a washroom break. We're watching the final." And when the four dot balls came, everybody's faces were grim. They are like, and it wasn't Tamil Nadu. Bus was stopped in Tamil Nadu, and you know the fan base over there, and everybody's hooked onto their mobile at 1:30 at night, and I've never seen so many people so active. And then you could see the disappointment, small kids being like, oh man, it's gone. You see tears on small kids, and then those two things happen. I mean, that has to be some of the greatest finishers in history of sport, and you have to say this is right up there in terms of IPL finals. I mean, thanks to Jadeja, Gujarat boy doing it against Gujarat. A Chennai boy trying to stop Chennai from winning was Sai Sudarshan. Props to
Yeah.
him as well. Incredible from him. Before we end the stream, incredible from Sai Sudarshan. Years in his hand. Chennai boy, a junior Super Kings product rather from the TNPL,
Hmm.
and then going to Gujarat, and a Gujarati boy trying to say Avade not today. It is a whistle podo night. Incredible. That's why we love IPL. We'll be back tomorrow, guys, and very soon WTC is on the way. The FA Cup finals, Conference League, and the Europa League is on the cards for us. It was a short stream because we wanted to keep it short because of so many other schedules. We're not feeling well from most of us. So we'll be back tomorrow. We'll see
Yeah.
you all very soon. And take care. Thank you all for joining. Almost we've got 100 plus likes on the stream. And keep going, guys. Thank you for all the love you've shown. And we'll be back very soon. Bye bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye, guys.